just mentioned, you went to Harvard to hang out with your buddy. You guys are all over the internet on your non-podcast stuff and all the really prestigious things that you guys do. How I've talked about like what I do to try to stay cutting edge for my patients in Washington and Seattle area. What do you guys do? Like, what is it that you can do that allows you to keep doing those things? I mean, you're teaching about arthroscopic DTAs, arthroscopic Latarjets, and for some of the patients, they'll look those things up. They've talked about those before. So like, how do you guys do it? What's the trick? What's the flavor? What's the magic?
For me, it was my patient population, and I kept on seeing these things that I just didn't have an answer for. I knew there was an answer out there. And so I said, well, how do I task myself and challenge myself? And I said, I'm going to just go learn. So I went to Europe and I went to La Fosse. I went to Ravenscroft in Manchester, England. And then I went to Paul Favorito in Cincinnati and George Athwell in Hamilton, Ontario, and, bounced around, did a couple other labs. And it took me from the day that I said I wanted to learn arthroscopic Latarjet to my first case was almost 2 years. And I don't think it takes that long now because there's a lot more opportunities than there were back in 2013 to 15 when I did this. So I think it was the shift in the way I thought about things. And I thought why are we seeing so many failures with bank carts? So I need to figure that out. And then I did the same thing with like lower trapezius transfers. What are we going to do? SCR doesn't work. And we don't know what the balloon's going to be, and not everybody at a young age needs a reverse. So I have to find something. And that's when that whole thing started. And Bassem taught me that as well. So for me, it was the patient population I was seeing, giving them an answer and making sure that I could do it with my hands. And if I couldn't, then I needed to get them to somebody who could.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. Like, I always joke with my colleagues. I always tell them, I'm like, you got to stay ready to be ready. And they look at me like I'm crazy, but that's kind of how I am, right? Like, if I see new techniques come out, I go to meetings, people talk about these techniques. I try to learn them. I'll set up a lab, or I'll either do it. Sometimes I don't need to do a lab, and I'll just like do it on the patient, just kind of tell them, oh, it's the first time I'm doing it, but it's not a big deal. Cause we're all technically gifted after like a certain point. And I think after like 6-7 years of getting my reps in, and I finished my fellowship, and I kind of knew what I could do and what I couldn't do. I tried to do the stuff that I couldn't do, and I challenged myself. Arthroscopic Latarjet was always something I wanted to do. And once I got my scope skills up, I learned how to do it. I talked to La Fosse, I talked to Boileau, and then I figured it out. And then as far as the videos go, like I just like teaching. I like videos and the social media type thing. So I would make Vumedi videos if I did a good case and I thought that I had something to offer somebody else trying to learn how to do something. Like I did a SCR video early on. I did an arthroscopic Latarjet video early on in a trap transfer, because I know a lot of people want to learn how to do it. And I think for me, I'm like, people know me. I'm like, here, this is what I did. Check this video out. And then it kind of helps people. And it's always nice because people will text me. It's like, hey, I watched your video before I did the surgery. It really helped. And for me, that helps me want to continue to teach other people just how to help patients, man. Like we're all in the game. I watch stuff that you do and like how you teach patients and stuff that we're all learning from each other, which is great. So for me, I think I just follow other like-minded people, and then I just try to push myself to continue to be better.
And if they can think that awesome. I can do it, then they're usually like, oh, I can do it. If Bishai can do it, I can do
it. No, I love it. I mean, Will's heard me talk about this before, but it's good that's why it's good to have you guys on here for him to see sort of, this is not just one person doing something, trying to get better or whatever. It's all different ways to do things. And this is what, listen, you're traveling outside the country to France. You're going to Canada to learn these new techniques. It's good for the patients to hear this stuff because they don't always understand that some of these more complex things sometimes take that stuff. Not all the time. What Daniel said is true too. I mean, I hate to say it. Sometimes you watch a YouTube video. If you know the steps, if you got everything else, I just tell them it's just combination. You're just changing the order, right? It's like for the lower trap transfer. For me, it was just the dissection. So I did that in the lab a couple times just to kind of get that feel. And then I did SCRs before, so that wasn't the hard part. In terms of the conversion rate. So it's interesting to see what you guys are saying. And what you mentioned about the videos is exactly what early on I was like, I'm putting out these videos. I'm like, I don't know if anybody cares. I think it's cool. I like doing them. Actually, it helps me. It helps me a lot, actually, though. I like having the video. I'm like, I haven't done the surgery in like a year. I'm like, how do I do it? I'm like, oh, it's on my video. So it's helpful.
I think videos are so important. And I'm the chair of the Orthopedic Video Theater for the Academy right now. And so for us, we want as many videos as we can get because we will review those, peer review those, and make sure that they're to the standard of the Academy, and then make sure that when they get out there, everybody can use them. And it's not something that, oh, you got to pay for this, or you can only do this if you're no, we want people to see these because these are experts that are putting it out there. They're reviewed by a context expert. And then at that point, anybody can watch them. So it's great for residents and fellows and even people in practice. So I think video is the new way. And then once AI starts kicking in and we can layer those with the papers that we discuss within our videos, I think it's going to be amazing.